got into radio through hospital radio, really, when I was like, I think I started in hospital radio when I was like 13, and I'd always wanted to be on the radio ever since I was 8, and I listened to Tommy Vance do the Friday Rock Show on Radio 1. That was kind of like my inspiration for wanting to do it. And I was lucky, between GCSEs and A-levels, I managed to get a gig at Virgin Megastores Radio, which was an in-store service for the chain. Used to come from the store in Oxford Street in London, but was broadcast around the UK, so wherever you were in a Virgin store, because there used to be a lot of them at one point, you heard VMR. And that was kind of a great route in for a number of reasons. A lot of people who got into radio kind of did their apprenticeship, if you like, at Virgin Megastores Radio, and it was run like a proper radio station, although it was just an in-store service, and it also paid as well. So even while I was still in education, when I was doing A-levels, I was earning money by being a DJ, to be quite honest, and from there I built up more connections, and it all kind of fell into place from that point. So I've been very lucky from the point of view that from the age of 8 I knew what I wanted to do. From the age of 16, when I kind of needed a Saturday job, it was what I started to do, and it's what I've done ever since. I've kind of managed to avoid doing any real work for a living for my entire life, so far. There's no traditional route. I don't think there's anything traditional in the entertainment industry at all since the advent of the internet, or at least you know, it becoming a commonplace tool for people to use in the industry and otherwise. I think for radio specifically, you need to be sure of what you want to do, because although it will sound strange to say this, you know, take it from someone on the inside, most radio has got nothing to do with music whatsoever, even if the stations play music all day long. The chances are you will have no free choice. You will play the same 10 songs all day long. And get into a scenario whereby it may appear at certain times that you're part of a business that has a bottom line in terms of how much it earns per show, per day, per week. And the fact it's a radio station is almost irrelevant. It's just a business. There are exceptions to that, and I've been very fortunate that during most of my career I've done playlisted radio and daytime radio, and I've had a show at the end of the week or at the weekend where I can play what I want, which has always been my passion. So I did that, and I've managed to sustain that so far. Other people could do that as well. But know that if you're getting into radio because you're a fan of music, unless for some reason you've got a specific love of radio as well, your music passion probably sits best elsewhere, because there ain't a lot of music passion in radio, and that's just the simple fact of the matter. Not so much at the mercy of record labels and PR companies, at the mercy of executives who run radio stations, and maybe research companies. You know, radio stations use a lot of research companies, call out research, playing people hooks of songs to see what they recognise, what they don't, what they like, what they don't, that kind of thing. And so, to be honest, you could be a daytime presenter on one of the biggest radio stations in the UK, and probably have very little contact with record labels, because they wouldn't bother with you, because you're never going to have any freedom or choice in what you play. It's just you know, sort of that's the state of affairs that radio's in. And you could sort of bang on about how wrong this is all day long, but you have to also say that predominantly radio is commercial in this country. Obviously there's the BBC, but that there are more commercial stations. Those stations have to make money, and if they weren't giving the people what they want, then they wouldn't be making that money. And the fact of the matter is that by and large, most people that listen to radio want mainstream mediocrity, the same songs all day long, 24/7, and that's why radio in the UK is what predominantly radio in the UK is. Oh, I mean, waking up each day and knowing that I haven't got to go and do any kind of real work is great. Waking up some days and thinking, today I'm going to interview Paul McCartney, or today I'm going to do another interview with Jazz Coleman from Killing Joke, who I know quite well but is one of my favourite people to talk to. Today I'm going to go play a bunch of songs, and then later I'm going to go see Don Broco for free because I'm on their guest list. I mean, every day is kind of a highlight, because I get to do what most people spend. I get to do what most people save their money to... Hang on, let me figure the way to phrase this properly. I get to do what most people have to save money to do after they've done a job that they really don't want to be a part of, right? So I get paid to indulge my hobby and then indulge it some more. People that live in the real world probably go and do a job that they don't want to do, and then they have to pay to get the album that I've just got sent for free, or they have to pay to get into the gig that I was on the guest list for. So, you know, there's a kind of a question of what's not to love about it, you know. And there's highlights every day. You know, not every day do you get to go on stage with Axl Rose, which I've done. Off the top of my head, that was a highlight because it's just such a crazy thing to do and a hilarious story to tell. But you know, from day to day, I could be outside digging ditches. You know, not that there's anything wrong with digging ditches, but I don't think it would suit me particularly, and it's not a vocation I would like to pursue. So I think just doing what I do each day is you know, kind of good enough. That's a highlight every morning, because I don't wake up thinking, oh God, I've got to go and slave away for the man for, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day doing a job I hate. I wake up and go in and press some buttons and talk a bit. I think it's very important because I've got a show once a week on XFM where I can play what I want, and there aren't many outlets in radio for that kind of exposure for new bands. And obviously, you know, if you don't have new bands, the scene dies, or the scenes, plural, die. So it's very important to sort of keep up with what's going on. I've never been too preoccupied with trends. I mean, obviously, if you get a massive trend come along, if there was the next wave of grunge, whatever that would be, you know, that would be a very interesting thing. You can sort of like see trends come and go, but there's good music and bad music, right? There's music you like and there's music that you don't like. So regardless of what the perceived trend is, just kind of like listen to everything with open ears and decide whether or not you want to play it. I mean, to be honest, a lot of the time if I get sent something, I'll do like a few listening sessions at home each week, either from WAVs that I've been sent or from actual physical CDs. And a lot of the time, I don't even take in who it's from or what it is I'm listening to. I'm just like hitting enter or pressing play or whatever it happens to be. And if it jumps out at you, it jumps out at you. You know, sometimes I've had new CDs by bands that I know that I don't particularly like, and I'm like, oh, this is what they sound like on this new album. That's great, you know. And by the same account, it may well be someone that I've never heard of before. But if it's good, it's on. And that's the criteria for it. And I think it's a lot easier to keep up to date with things now as well, because obviously everything's so instant. You want to read about a band, the biog's online. You want to see them live, there's probably some YouTube footage. You want to check out the video, there it is. You know, for as much as the internet could be perceived as causing some damage to the music industry, or at least the business side of it, in terms of getting things out there and having an environment which is far more immediate, I think it's been you know, tremendously useful. I think if you are looking at radio specifically, look at what DJs are out there that play the type of music that you make and the type of shows that they do, because most DJs have no choice in what they play on the radio, and will probably not pay you much attention. Most DJs on the radio probably don't even like music. That's just the way it is. You know, in so much as with everything in life, you've got to pick your battles, pick your DJ. That would be the first thing to do. And then jump on them. Tell them why they should like your band. Send them stuff. It's easier than ever to get them to hear stuff right now. I mean, if you send them an email that gets their attention, send the file with it as well, so they just have to click on it and check it out. And there are some very good people out there, you know. There are still radio shows that do give a shit about music, and those people that present those shows tend to be very proactive and have a voracious appetite for hearing new stuff. But choose the right DJs, and don't get disheartened because you're a new thrash band and the drive time show on your local heart radio station aren't responding to you, because they ain't gonna, and they're never gonna play your song.